Back in 2016, Leicester City completed the ultimate underdog story by winning the Premier League against absolutely all odds. But fast forward to now, they are currently sitting in the Championship looking to bounce right back up to the Premier League after getting relegated last year. Now granted, it's looking likely that they'll get promoted, but I for one aren't willing to take that chance. So with that being said, today I have become Leicester City's new manager to not only get them back into the Premier League, but to make them the best team in the world. So this is the team that we've loaded into with Leicester City, and let's be honest guys, it doesn't take a rocket scientist to see that we've got a very good team to begin with. Now granted, the squad does have some fairly old players in the team already, but I've already seen a couple of players I want to build the team around. One of which being Steffi Mavridis. He's 25, he's 76 overall, and in real life, if I'm not mistaken, he's either their top goal scorer or their second top goal scorer. And the other player is Abdul Fatawu. He's 19, 71 overall. Granted, he is on loan to us right now from Sporting, but I reckon I could turn this guy into an absolute monster. So like I said guys, we have got a very good team, and honestly, I reckon this team as it is would actually do alright in the Premier League. And we are once again going to be using the counter-attacking style up. With the amount of pace we've got, we'll annihilate teams on the break. And after meddling around with the team, this is the strongest starter level we can possibly field right now. And let me tell you something guys, I've got very high hopes for what we can achieve with Leicester City in Season 1. Now obviously I've changed to the 4-3-3 defending formation. This is purely because we've got no attacking midfielders, we've got 2 CDMs and a couple of centre mids. It just makes sense. And our budget, considering the Championship, is staggering, just under 50 million to spend, man. That is outrageous. But remember guys, we are in the Championship, we haven't yet been promoted to the Premier League, so our pull isn't exactly going to be massive. But I've got to be honest guys, that begs the question, where do I actually put that money into this team, man? Because let's be honest, it is already bloody brilliant. Maybe a better and younger centre back than Cody and Vestergaard wouldn't go amiss. I mean, they are 75 and 74 rated and 30 years old, and once we get to the Premier League, we're going to need better defenders anyway. And maybe a better striker than Iheanacho wouldn't go amiss either. I mean, he's a decent player, 76 overall, 26 years old, but if we can get somebody better now, that'll definitely bode well for us going into the Premier League. But positions I'm not messing with for this season at least is our goalkeeper position and our right winger position. They're both very young, they've both got a pretty decent amount of potential. I've got to give these guys at least a chance to prove themselves. Especially Fatawu, because even though he is on loan to us right now, I really do want to try and build the team around him. And that does lead us to our first bit of business. His market value is 3.8 million, so I'm pretty certain it won't even cost that much to bring in on a permanent deal. And just like that guys, for 3.55 million, he's officially a Leicester City player. And that leaves us with 44 million left to spend in Season 1. And remember guys, we only want a striker and a centre-back. And starting with the centre-back, I went for Matthias Rees from Sporting. He's 6 foot, 28, 78 overall, and for 13 million on the dot, he's become the latest addition to Leicester City. As for the striker, I went a little bit out the box for this one. Jesus Ferreira from FC Dallas. He's only 22 years old and 76 overall. Now, I'm very aware that he's the same overall as Iheanacho, but he's 4 years younger than him, man. I reckon by the end of this season, he'll be miles clear of Iheanacho. And I think we just got the bargain of the century, as we only had to spend 14 million on the dot to bring him over to Leicester City. Now, we do still have 16 million left in the budget, but I'm going to make a controversial decision. I'm not going to spend any more money. I mean, looking at the starting 11 now, all I'm seeing is a pretty young, high potential team that just needs a chance to grow, so I don't see any need in bringing any more players into the team just yet. But one thing I have done is sent a silly amount of players out on loan. Now, there's once again 2 reasons for this. The first one is for players like Sammy Braybrook and Patson Daka, who got some pretty decent potential but just won't get game time with us, so hopefully at other teams they will get game time and come back a better player. And the second reason is for players like Daniel Iverson and Iheanacho, because these players that play in their positions in this team that I want to improve, and whilst they're playing at this team, it just won't happen. So at least whilst these guys are on loan to other teams, they'll get the game time they need to improve, and the players I want to improve in our team will improve anyway, because they're getting the game time they need. So with that being said, this is the team heading into Season 1, and let's be honest guys, there's only one objective I've got in my mind, and that is automatic promotion. This is easily one of the strongest teams in the Championship, and if we don't actually get automatic promotion or promotion at all via the playoffs, I feel like I've done a disservice to their squad. But I'm happy to say I didn't do a disservice to Leicester City. We've been promoted as champions of the Championship, and we got 113 points overall in the end, man. That's outrageous. I don't think that's the highest points tally there's ever been in the Championship, but I bet it's not bloody far off. As for the FA Cup, we made it to round 4 before Wolves absolutely annihilated us in the replay. And Doncaster knocked us out of the Carabao Cup in round 2, but you know what? I don't really care, guys. We've been promoted as champions. That's all I wanted this year. And guys, just take a look how strong this team is. Now, no wonder we won the championship so easily. I know it may have been a controversial decision at the time, but I'm so happy I only made 2 transfers, man. That's all we needed. And just look at their stats as well, man. Jesus Ferreira getting 40 goal contributions in 40 games. What a first season he's had at Leicester City. And on top of that, Abdul Fatah was grown to 77 overall this year. This is one of the players I wanted to build this team around, and it looks like I was correct in my decision. But whilst we have absolutely stormed the championship, we're about to go into the Premier League for Season 2, man. And as we all know, that isn't an easy task. And whilst we've already seen the amount of improvement that's happened in this team in Season 1, we've definitely got to make improvements so that it's ready for the Prem. But we've completed our first objective of this video, getting this team back into the Premier League, but it's going to take a long time before we can call them the best team in the world. Our journey with Leicester City has only just begun. So it's now time for Season 2 of Leicester City, and as you guys can see, it's official. We are now in the Premier League. Now it's just a case of making sure we don't get our backsides handed to us and we do well. And we've defo got the budget to help make that happen. 97 million to spend this year with Leicester City. I suppose getting promoted as champions does have its benefits. And when you look at the starting 11, I bet you guys are thinking, where am I actually going to put this money? Well, honestly, guys, I've already made my mind up about that. And it isn't going to be bringing in a better right winger or goalkeeper, because both of these players really did shine last year, and I definitely feel like they've earned their spot in the team for the time being. However, I feel like Harry Winks will definitely let the team down this year. He's 76 overall and by a mile the weakest link in the starting 11. And I also want to bring in a better centre-back than Fayez and a better full-back than Justin. Now, these guys did improve quite a lot last year, so let me just explain why I'm going to do this. Now, this is James Justin's development plan, and as you can see, it'll take him 154 weeks to become an 80 rated player, and honestly, for the Premier League, I don't think that's good enough. And it'll also take Wout Faes 181 weeks to become an 80 rated centre-back. So bottom line is, guys, I feel like Wout Faes and James Justin have reached their potential. And to be honest, guys, once we sort these positions out, I don't think we're going to be anywhere near that relegation zone. I feel like we'll be mid-table. Now, starting with the CDM, I've gone for Fran Beltran from Juve. He's only 5'5", but he's 25 years old, 82 overall. He's got some very good stats to go with it, and for 32.4 million, he's our first transfer for Season 2. And we've still got 61 million to bring in a centre-back and a left-back, and I think I've found the 2 players I want to bring into this team. The first one being Facundo Medina, the 25-year-old centre-back. He's 81 rated, 6 foot. I think this guy will be a pretty good addition. And I'm also going for Renan Lodi from Marseille. He's only 26 years old, 80 overall, and this guy's already got Premier League experience. This is literally the perfect transfer for that left-back role. And for the combined total of 54.2 million, I've signed both Renan Lodi and Facundo Medina on a permanent deal, and that's our transfer window done for Season 2. And now the starting 11 looks like this going into our first season back into the Premier League, and honestly, with the signings we've made, I'm very confident about what we can achieve this year. Now, I'm not expecting anything extravagant, but the one thing I don't want is to be anywhere near that relegation zone. I feel like a team like this should be comfortably mid-table. And I was absolutely right. We finished 11th in the Premier League in our first season back in it, and for a promoted team, that is phenomenal. And looking at the table, there's only 13 points separating ourselves from European football, so maybe next year that's what we go for. As for the FA Cup, we did actually make the final, but Arsenal beat us 3-1, man. But you know what? That is absolutely fantastic, man. This Leicester City team is cracked. But Salford City knock us out of the Carabao Cup in round 3, man. How do we do so well in the FA Cup, but the Carabao Cup we absolutely flunk? But I'm not going to lie to you guys, the improvement in this team this year has been absolutely fantastic, man. Just look at some of these players. Jesus Ferreira's 86 rated, Beltran's 85 rated, Hermanson's 84 rated as well. That is absolutely brilliant. And the stats are just as good. Our front three really did show up, and as well as that, Dewsbury Hall got 16 assists and 17 goals from a centre midfielder position. Fair play to him. Now, don't get me wrong, I was definitely expecting a mid-table finish, but I wasn't expecting the improvement that I've seen in Season 2. This is genuinely outrageous. And after seeing how good the team already is and knowing we can improve it even further next year, I absolutely feel like top 6 football is achievable in Season 3. But before we go any further, if you're enjoying the video so far, leave it a big old thumbs up and smash that subscribe button. So it's now time for Season 3 with Leicester, and we've got just over 70 million in our budget, and whilst it's not as good as last year's budget, it's still pretty decent. Now, looking at the starting 11, it's pretty difficult to see where we need to improve it because everybody's pouring a shift in. So instead, I'm going to look at this more tactically, and I think about a centre-back and right-back is the way to go, purely because Pereira and Reece are 30 and 31 respectively. And whilst these guys have been performing very well well and improving very well each season. With them being in the 30s now, we don't know how much longer that's going to last for, so it's better to take action now rather than later. Now, obviously, Dewsbury Hall is one of the weakest links in the team, but last year he was one of our biggest goal contributors, man, and whilst he's doing stuff like that, I can't remove him from the squad. But I definitely want Jesus Ferreira to play better this year. He's the best player of the entire team overall-wise, but goal contributions-wise, last season out of the front three, he was the worst one. But I've made my mind up, a new centre-back and right-back is what we're getting this year, and with 72 million on the dot to spend, I think we'll be more than comfortable in doing this. Now, starting with the centre-back, I'm going for Mark Gee. He's 5 years younger than Matthias Rees. He's 82 rated, 6 foot tall, and for 28 million on the dot, he is now a Leicester City player. And that leaves us with just over 40 million to spend on a fullback, and I have found just the player I want. I'm going for Aaron Wan-Bissaka from Dortmund. He's 27 years old, 83 overall. He's 3 years younger than Pereira and already 1 overall better. But the issue is he's worth between 45 and 36 million, so this is going to be quite tricky to make this deal happen. So I'm offering 28 million alongside Boubakary Samar. I'm hoping that this will actually persuade them first time. And that is actually work, boys. We are one step closer to signing Wan-Bissaka. And there it is, guys. It's official. Aaron Wan-Bissaka is playing for Leicester City, and he looks bloody good in that shirt, doesn't he? And granted, we do have 14 million left to spend, but I'm very happy to leave the transfer window as it is. Which means this is the starting 11 going into Season 3. And honestly, guys, I reckon we can pull off an absolute madness this year. Think about it. Last year was our first season back in the Prem, and we finished just outside the top 10. Now that we've improved our weaknesses in the team, who knows what we could do? Guys, you ain't gonna believe this, because to be honest, I still don't. We've somehow won the Premier League by 10 bloody points, man. I do not understand how we pulled this off. I know we've got a good team, and I know for a fact there's some absolute world-class players in that team, but winning the Premier League in Season 3 with Leicester City is absolutely outrageous. We did also make the semi-finals of the FA Cup, but bloody Bournemouth knocked us out, man. That's the double thrown out the window. But it's the same old in the Carabao Cup. Leeds United knock us out in round 3. And this is the team that has won the Premier League. I know that it's a good team. I know we've got some absolute balls in this team, like I've already said, but winning the Premier League, I don't think it should be doing that yet. FC24, man, you are absolutely off your rocket. But looking at the stats, Steffi Mavididi was our best player. 29 goals, 12 assists, and 45 games. Fair play to the guy. And look at Dewsbury Hall, again, 13 assists, man. He's our top assister, for God's sake. I legitimately cannot get rid of him, even if I wanted to. This is absolutely mental. We have won the Premier League with Leicester for the first time since 2016. The mental part is we've got Champions League football for Season 4. And if this team in front of us is winning the Premier League in only its second season back in this competition, who knows what we're capable of doing in the biggest competition of all at club level. So we're now into our 4th year in charge of Leicester City. Now it's my job to make sure that this team is as prepared as possible for the Champions League. And to help me with this, we've got 187 million to spend. It turns out winning the Premier League does have its bonuses after all. Now I'm once again going to approach this quite tactically, because while some of these players are lower rated in the team, those lower rated players are actually outperforming the better players. For example, Dewsbury Hall for the second season in a row has been our top assister. I feel like I'd be an absolute moron to replace him. And the same goes for Mavididi. He's our lowest rated player in the front 3, but he's our best performing player in the front 3 by a country mile. So that's led me to look at other areas of the team where we could do with improving, and I've landed on 2 positions. Firstly, I'm replacing Ndidi in that defensive midfielder role. He's 82 rated, he's 29 years old. I'm pretty sure now he's at the peak of his potential. And I'm also replacing Renan Lodi in that left back role. Granted, he is 83 overall and could definitely do a job, but now that we're in the Champions League, I don't want to take any chances. And with this amount of money and only 2 positions to sort out, I'm pulling no punches. I'm going for the best players I can afford. And starting with the left back, I'm going for Destiny Udogie. He's only 23 and already 85 overall. And in my opinion, he's one of the best left backs in the Premier League, and for 70 million on the dot, he now plays for us. And as for our new CDM, I'm going for Louis Robert from Manchester City. Only 21 years old and 85 overall. And just check out those stats, man. He is absolutely fantastic. And let's be honest, if we're serious about winning the Premier League again this year, it doesn't help weakening one of our biggest competitors, does it? And for 73.4 million on the dot, he is the latest addition to Leicester City's team, and that is our transfer window done. And now the team looks like this heading into Season 4 in our very first season in the Champions League under my management. And at this point, guys, after what we managed to pull off last year, I am not writing anything off this season. Now, we are in Group B alongside Porto, Marseille and Rangers, and honestly, that is actually a pretty competitive group. But with the team we've got at right now, we should absolutely cruise that group. But beyond that, I genuinely don't know how we're going to do. Last season, we won the Premier League, so who knows what can happen. Well, I'll tell you what has happened. We've won the Premier League for the second season in a row, this time by 11 points, man. We are well and truly the best team in England at this point. And we've also won the Community Shield, beating Man City on penalties, man. That's the double straight away. But we do get knocked out by Man City in round 4 of the FA Cup, so I guess they got the revenge there, didn't they? And in the Carabao Cup, Chelsea knocked us out on penalties in round 4. To be fair, though, I think that's the furthest we've gone in this competition, so that's a W anyway. But with the double already secured, I can't wait to see how we're done in the Champions League, man. Maybe the treble's on the cards. Scratch that, though. We finished bottom of Group B. Oh my god. How the hell did that happen? We legit won the Premier League by 11 points this season, but we couldn't even get Europa League football in a group that had Rangers in it, man. What is going on? Honestly, guys, that has proper overshadowed the success of winning the Premier League title. I am absolutely ashamed of these lot. And again, the stats are actually pretty damn decent, especially Jesus Ferreira gained 45 goal contributions in 49 games. That's outstanding, but still, we did shockingly bad in the Champions League. I can't get over that. Porto and Rangers definitely aren't better than us right now. No disrespect to them. Marseille, maybe they've got a shot. We should have definitely topped this group. Maybe my loyalty to certain players this year has massively cost us in the Champions League, but rest assured, I'm not making that same mistake twice. So it's now time for Season 5 with Leicester, and we've got just over 180 million in the budget, and just like I said last year, I'm not making the same mistake twice, and I'm pulling absolutely no punches this time. And that means Medina is the first player on the chopping block. Granted, he's 84 overall and 28 years old, but he's the weakest link in the entire back four, and if we're to do better in the Champions League, we do need someone better. And I hate to say it, but Dewsbury's time in the starting 11 is up. Granted, he might be doing well in the Premier League, but the Champions League was clearly too much for him to handle. But rest assured, I'm going to be very picky with who I bring in to replace Dewsbury. We need somebody to bring in as many goal contributions as he used to, and that is going to be pretty tricky. But as you guys know, we got a lot of money to spend, and like I've already said, I'm pulling no punches, so let's get to work. Now, starting with the centre-back, I went for Sergio Ceballos from Liverpool. He's 20 years old, he's an exciting prospect, and from those stats, you can clearly see he's a fantastic player, and for 70 million on the dot, he now plays for us. And with him now in that starting 11, the back four looks absolutely unstoppable. Now we just need to bring in someone for Dewsbury Hall. And we've still got over 100 million to find this replacement. Now, believe me, I've thought about this for a long time, and I think I've landed on the perfect candidate. It is, of course, James Maddison I'm talking about. 30 years old now, 86 overall. He's currently playing for AC Milan, but believe me, that's not going to last like that for much longer. He left Leicester City earlier this year to join the Bottle but for 68.6 million, he's coming back home, and I think he's going to help us lift that Champions League trophy by the end of this season. And now the team looks like this, heading into our 5th year of Leicester City, and as you can see, I have changed the formation to the 4-2-3-1 narrow. This is purely to fit James Maddison into the squad. And honestly, guys, I feel like with the addition of Ceballos and James Maddison into this team, there is nothing stopping us from getting at least the treble this year. Now, this time we're in Group H alongside Real Sociedad, Sporting CP, and Derry City. And I'm not being funny, guys, with the team we've got now, there's absolutely nothing stopping us from going all the way in this competition. The boys just need to bloody perform where it matters now. So we aren't off to a good start. We didn't win the Premier League this year. In fairness, Man City absolutely ran away with it, almost getting 100 points in the end. And they also annihilated us 3-1 in the Community Shield final. We aren't off to a good start at all, are we? But we did make the quarterfinals of the FA Cup, only losing 2-1 to Arsenal. And in the Carabao Cup, United knocked us out on penalties in round 4. I'm not being funny, guys. If these competitions are any reflection of how we've done in the Champions League, we're in for another rotter. But thankfully this time, we did top the group just like we should be doing, and we go to the round of 16, where we play Real Madrid and beat them 2-0. And then we beat PSG in the quarterfinals 2-1 on aggregate. We could be playing Inter Milan, Barcelona, and Sevilla. Oh, please let it be Sevilla. It was Sevilla, and we've absolutely annihilated them 5-2 on aggregate, and we're playing Inter Milan in the final. Now, I don't know how good Inter Milan's team is, but they've just beaten Barca to get to the final themselves, so I'm definitely not taking them lightly. But they shouldn't take us lightly either, because just look at the stats for our front four, man. Easily got 100 goal contributions between all of them. And this is the starting 11 going into the final, except Mark Gee, the absolute donkey, getting himself suspended, man. What you playing at? The good news is, though, we do have a very good centre-back in Medina to go in his place, but I would have much preferred to have Mark Gee in there. He's in the starting 11 for a reason. And what I'm most proud of is I've brought Mavididi and Fataru to the Champions League final. The two players I pointed out at the very beginning that I wanted to build the team around, and that's exactly what I've been able to do. And up to this point, we've won quite a few trophies with Leicester. We've won 2 Premier League titles, the Championship title, and of course the FA Community Shield. But now we have the chance to make history with Leicester City and win them the one trophy they've never won, and that is the Champions League. Here comes Williams on the left-hand side of the pitch. He's cut inside. He's gone for a cross. Oh my God, that almost went in. But Inter Milan come again. They've got room. Oh my God, what a save, man. So far, it's been all Inter Milan. We haven't even been able to get out of our half, but here comes Fatu on the right-hand side of the pitch. He's cut inside. Oh, that's beautiful. Ferreira, please hit that first time. Great defending. Altran's on the ball. He's looking for that run. Fatu is through. Okay, on his right foot. Can he put it in? Oh my God, what a strike and what a goddamn goal that is on the half-hour mark. Fatu take a bow, lad, on his right foot, rivals it top left bins the keeper. I don't care who you are, you ain't saving that. Mavididi on the ball. Okay, can we deepen this into Ferreira? Oh, that's beautiful. Surely that's got to be in. There we go. 2-0 just before half-time. We are well in control. I did ideally want him to do that first time, but I suppose taking a touch and then smashing it, I mean, that works both ways too, doesn't it? And it was again on the counter-attack. I'm telling you, Inter Milan cannot attack us on the break. But here we come early in the second half. Wan-Bissaka's on the ball. He's looking for that run. He's found it. Fatu. Let's take it on his right foot. Oh, great save from Inter Milan's keeper. Now time for our first corner of the game. Can we make it count, though? It's front post and nobody's there. That was shocking, that was. But we've got Destiny Udogie on the ball. We're not actually on the counter-attack this time for a change. We've got Mavididi. Oh, this is beautiful. Ferreira for his hat-trick. Oh, my God. I would have legitimately bet my house on that going in, man. That's so unlike Ferreira to miss. But it's now time for Inter Milan to take it to us now. They're coming up with Sesko. Benjamin Sesko's on the left-hand side of the pitch. I don't like this because Sesko is a don. They keep trying to cross the ball in, and it just doesn't work. But for some reason, Inter Milan have just been handed a free kick. Williams on it. Why was I worried? Here comes Fatu once again. Look at him go, man. This is what 99 pace looks like. We're going to have a dink from ball. Oh, what a goal that would have been. We've got Fatu on the ball on the left-hand side of the pitch. Can we get this back? Oh, hang on. How the hell did he reach that? I genuinely thought that was going straight into the keeper's hands, but apparently not. I don't even know who that was. Ceballos with the goal. Fatu crosses that in back stick. Normally, the goalkeeper does have that. 9 times out of 10 in those situations, the goalkeeper's all over that situation, but apparently not that time. We've now got the ball coming forward, and that does not matter, though. We have beaten Inter Milan 3-0 in the Champions League final to make Leicester City the best team in the world. And we did this in 5 seasons. Let me tell you something. Leicester City are one hell of a fun career mode. So if that's what you're after, I highly recommend using Leicester City. But that is where this video comes to an end. If you enjoyed it, though, you should definitely click here to watch me do this with Leeds United.